AITAH for not understanding why I did something wrong when my best friend asked me an advice on his cheating wife that gave birth to a black baby when they are both white. So all this story is fresh and it's all a whole mess, so sorry if I write a bit confusedly, but I hope you understand the moment. And also I am sorry for my English, but it's not my first language. So me and Tom are best friends since 23 years and we are inseparable. We grew up together and we are like brothers, so during the years we knew each other extremely well. We knew each other's secrets, fears, desires, so practically everything. We went together in the same schools and we even have the same job but at two different companies and in two different cities, but we always hang out together and with our friends. 7 years ago Tom met his wife, now probably ex, and from the very beginning I was against her because of her arrogant and pretentious character. Attention, I wasn't always against her because she stole Tom from me, because I liked most of his exes and I thought that they were the right girl for him, but for some reasons it never worked. Especially with his last ex. She cheated on him and he immediately broke up with her, but his mental and physical health was awful cause he suffered a lot, but I was there for him and in fact he always thanked me for what I did for him. This distance between me and his soon-to-be ex-wife, I will call her Tara, was reciprocal, but I never wanted to influence him because it's Tom's life and not mine. When they got married I was his best man and I was extremely happy for this, and that day everything was perfect even if me and Tara even that day didn't talk to each other a lot. After a year of their wedding Tara became pregnant and watching how Tom was happy made me happy too, and I always supported them. Financially, they were going through some tough months, and emotionally, and I was super happy to help Tom because he is my best friend and I would do everything I can for him. When the big day arrived the whole mess and drama started. Tara knew very well what was about to happen and didn't wanted Tom there, but he insisted and she somehow agreed. I was there in the hospital too because I was waiting for this awesome moment like it was mine. Well, when the baby came out I can assure you that emotions changed in a few seconds. I passed from hearing, "Honey push push," to "WTF? How the baby is black. You cheated on me?" and he was screaming this so you could hear it very well. After a few minutes he ran out of the room crying and sobbing like I never saw him. He practically jumped on me crying and continuously asking me, "Why to me? Why to me? Why to me?" I didn't know what to do because it was the first time that something like this happened, and after a few minutes my GF arrived and watching this scene asked me what happened, and after I told her she too started comforting him. That day he went to stay with us at my house. He went to sleep immediately after we arrived and slept a lot that day. His phone and my phone was blowing up with calls, texts, people banging at my door and Tara's parents begging me to let them in, but I told them to go away and that he or me will contact them when the situation would cool down. The day after, me and my GF had a serious talk about this with Tom and we asked him if maybe Tara's family had someone black in their family or something like this, that maybe an extremist could explain this situation, but he told us that he didn't know and didn't even want to think at it, so we asked him to do a paternity test just to be extremely sure and that maybe the whole mess could be explained. Even that day after our talk he was in the bad for the whole day and didn't even eat anything, so I texted Tara asking for a paternity test and saying that Tom wanted it. She called me and started yelling, screaming, so I put her on mute for like 2 hours and finally she agreed. The day after Tom finally went to his house to bring the baby to do this paternity test. I can't describe enough what happened even that day with Tara crying, begging him to think again, her parents too begging him to think well, but he was cold. He took the baby and we drove to do the test. After that he again went to stay with me and my GF at our house, leaving the baby with Tara and her parents. So a week ago he had the results and unfortunately it wasn't his baby. Tom sent me to bring the results to his house, so I just knocked on the door and when her dad opened it I just gave him the results and drove away. Keep in mind that in all this days his and mine phones were always blowing up with texts and calls. So again after hours of crying he asked me an advice on what he was supposed to do. So here comes my part. We talked about this for hours and I was extremely sincere with him on my POV, so I'm gonna make a resume about what I told him. I asked him if he loved the baby whatever his color was, just from the first impact on seeing him, and he told me no, cause the baby reminds him of Tara's cheating and that sensation is way more big than the love for his baby. I asked him this cause some people feel immediately a connection and love with the baby regarding the biology. Then I told him that if it was me I would divorce immediately cause Tara never talked with Tom about their problems, her insecurities, and the major fact that she cheated on him, and probably Tom would forgive her because he is made like this and was deeply in love with Tara. But then after hours of talking I said that I don't want to influence him because it's his choice and whatever he decides I would be at his side anyway. He cried again a little bit and then started to call his parents and our friends for more advices, and I didn't even wanted to know what their advices were cause I'm no one to judge people's choices. 4 days ago he made his choice and decided to met Tara alone and decided to divorce her. I knew this because he asked me to wait outside of his house just in case things would go wrong, so I did. Tara started yelling at him, cursing and screaming the worst and no-sense things like she was right to cheat and then that she was sorry, that he wouldn't be a good father anyway and then that he would be a perfect dad and all this kind of BS. Then I heard Tom saying to Tara to pack her stuff and to go away from his house, and when I heard the noise of things breaking and again Tara yelling at Tom, I went in and saw Tara throwing at Tom everything she found, but then when she saw me standing there and watching her, she immediately stopped and started to pack her stuff while still yelling and cursing at him. After other 2 hours she finally went away and her parents picked her up, not before again begging to forgive Tara, to understand the situation and that everyone make mistakes. So coming to now, Tom contacted a divorce lawyer, but now for some reasons I'm the one in the wrong, cause apparently only me and Tom's parents told him to divorce her because everyone else told him to forgive her. I mean, I'm being bombarded with calls and texts non-stop accusing me to manipulate Tom. But I don't know and don't understand why and where I was wrong. So AITAH?